Was there ever a moment when you looked across each other and thought, you're actually kind of cute?
No.
Kennedy said that looking Josh Simon straight dead in the eye and going, no.
I actually did think before, would Josh and I make a good couple? I did think it before. I really, really did think before.
And then what happened?
We matched on Tinder. So I did think about whether me and Josh would make a good couple, if he would be a good boyfriend. And I think...
Keep going.
It's not so much of the objective qualities of Joshua Simon. It is more of the fact that you can't have two drama queens. I would not want that in a relationship. It would be too much.
So it seems that Kennedy has really thought this through.
It seems.
And like he has envisioned this
No,
whole
I've thought about it with you as
imaginary
well.
future. What?
No, I've
wait,
thought
wait.
about it with you.
With
But
Samjo.
with Samjo, it's a lot simpler.
Why?
I can't accept twins.
What? But you're dating a twink now, no? Or at least a former twink.
I don't view him as a twink.
But how does the world view him?
Was there an episode you wish you did not release on the SG Boys?
Oh my god, actually, let's scroll through right now. Let's scroll through. And right back at you, Josh. I feel like Josh has had a few regrets. Sometimes you can tell when Josh, he's done editing an episode, right? And then he doesn't say anything about it.
Yeah, I'm like, the episode's out.
Yeah, it's up. But if it's really good, he'll be gushing nonstop over it. I'll be like, okay, let's,
So
like,
basically,
stop
when
jerking
Josh
yourself
regrets
off.
it, it's not the kind of episode that he will send in the group chat and then delete if nobody replies.
Ooh!
Kidding.
I feel so seen. I've got the rundown here as well. I mean, you can swipe through if there's.
Oh shit! I didn't even know that we did like thumbnails.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? This is why you got fired, Kennedy.
Fire.
This is why
Okay.
Joshua Simon, executive producer of the SG Boys podcast, fired Kennedy Sung, former co-host
He didn't
of the
fire me
podcast.
though. Like I.
Yeah, so you quit, is it? Did you quit?
Not important already. Lah. I really did like If You Seek Amy.
Which
if
one
you
was
seek
that?
Army.
The army one.
Oh.
I really did like it. All gay men who are Singaporean, right? Like you have to get conscripted.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I have, as I told you, I just MR'd.
Yeah.
Or for those of us who are not from Singapore, you don't know, it's like I just entered the military reserve. What that means is that yes, I am officially old. I'm no longer like an active national service man.
I thought you were the perpetual twink.
You still wouldn't tell me who said that. Apparently someone told him that about me, and I'm like, who? And he doesn't want to say.
Yeah, because the
Like,
other day I was like, oh, I'm on the SG Boys reunion recording. He was like, oh, Samjo gives off a very young vibe. He's like a perpetual twink.
you know what? I'll take it.
Yeah.
Take it. Even though the Singapore Army doesn't think so, and but I can safely say that I don't have to wear uniform ever again. My military uniform ever
Right.
again.
Yeah.
Can I just say though, like, the number 4 is very homoerotic. There's something very, very homoerotic about military wear. I tried it on the other day because and it was like tight AF, like because I put on weight, right?
Yeah.
Then I was like,
Sorry, I
oh.
didn't mean to agree so quickly, but yes, I was just moving the conversation.
No, I put on
along.
good weight.
Okay.
Yeah, I put on good weight. So
Is there a bad way?
There is
Oh.
dead weight.
I don't know. 2016 woke is over, right? Nobody wants to be 2016 woke anymore, right? So I gotta be careful with my words. I don't
Yeah,
know.
be careful. No, but you are healthy, lah. I think you're healthy. That's the most important.
So I put on the Temasek green singlet the other day, and it is in the size XS because that was the size I was in army. Oh shit! I was like, there's something so homoerotic about it, like.
Yeah, because
I
your
felt-
nipples were like peeking out and everything.
And I
right?
felt hot in it. I was like,
Ooh.
oh my god! Like I almost
Yeah.
got
Erection.
semi-hard. Yeah.
Oh, seriously?
Cut this out.
Interesting. No, don't cut it out. This reminds me of the time actually when I was
Name him.
hooking up with this guy, and then I didn't know that he had a particular kink and he was into military wear and especially boots. So I was like, oh, like he was like, oh, could you put it on? I'm like, sure, but like I didn't bring
Oh,
anything,
kinky
right?
boot,
I didn't
yeah.
bring anything. In fact, I thought like this was just
Yeah.
gonna be butt naked as things
As all
usually
hookups
are.
go.
As
Yeah.
most hookups go,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And he was like, oh, I got you. And then he pulls back his cupboard, like and there is like a set of uniform and like with the socks and with the complete with the boots and the socks and the garters. And I was like, Oh, that was hot.
Can I just say though, like literally, like when I, like today and like the previous time, like wow, like it really rekindles the magic that we had previously. You know what I mean? Like
What magic?
the original concept that Josh envisioned, because Josh is the architect of this, right?
Oh, he's the executive producer. I'll give
Yeah.
him that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I don't. Actually, I'm just trying to keep up with Kennedy here. I want what he's having.
Yeah.
I'm only having my teh gao siu dai. By the way, this is we're recording. This is 11 something in the morning. This
Yeah.
is one of the rare occasions when we're recording in the day. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm
and for
just-
some reason, Kennedy here is.
I'm just in a really good mood because tonight I'm going to fly to Melbourne. It's my first time in Melbourne. and-
Really? You're gonna love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
There's so much to do.
everyone tells me, oh, you know, you're an artsy person. You they basically said to my face, you're a messy bottom, you'll love Melbourne. Like, is that true?
Wow. Why are we looking at me?
Because
I
you're the
mean-
perpetual twink.
Wow. Okay. I think that Melbourne, there's something for everybody in Melbourne. Right? I think it's one of those cities that you go there and like you want to
Yeah.
chill and like you love coffee, there's something for you there. If you love like the gay scene, there's also something for you there.
Yeah.
I think what I'm most excited for is the 3-day, 2-night stay in Yarra Valley. I hope that I can see some stars because the last time I was in Sydney, we went all the way out to Hunter Valley and I saw stars at night in a
Yeah.
villa. So like I was like, wow. Props to my friend who drove the whole way.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't drive, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I should drive soon. I don't know. Yeah.
You don't
I
drive
should
yet?
learn how to drive.
No lah, it's okay. Then you can drink what?
Correct. No. So literally.
No, I mean it. If you go.
No,
for
literally,
me-
when we were driving in when he was driving in Hunter Valley, I literally was like having a bottle of wine in my hand.
Yeah.
I mean, that's problematic because we're talking about addiction, right? But at the same time, I think there are correct ways to drink. There are responsible ways to drink, and
Yeah.
those were one of those days.
No, I think if I'm gonna be in a wine valley and if I made a designated driver, I would be so upset because like you're there, you might as well lap it up. You want to talk about the which episode you regret? I know my answer, and it's. I think you already know my answer, but it's my fault.
What? Really?
Yeah, you want?
Oh no!
Yes, yeah,
I
yeah.
know. The episode that you regret,
Yes. You want to guess?
baby boy.
Yes, obviously. Oh
Wait,
my
why?
goodness. If you read the caption for our baby boy episode, it says that as Samjo recovers from Mayhem Month, because that was a whole period when Gaga was here and I was working late, many late consecutive nights at the club.
Shit. That was an era.
That
You know
was,
that I freaking. Sorry. to
No, go for
interrupt.
it. Yeah. I'm used to you hijacking my conversations. It's fine.
During Mayhem, man, I freaking literally
Had a lot of sex.
No.
Oh.
I was in a monogamous relationship then.
Oh.
But I literally drank all the way from like 6 p.m. No. Hear me out. I partied all the way from the night into the AM and I went straight to the airport. When I went out to party, I had my whole luggage with me. Like literally, and then I went to Cairns. I went to the Great Barrier Reef.
What?
And I found Nemo.
Right. It's great.
Literally, I found Nemo in the Great Barrier Reef. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know where this is going.
Again, I don't know. Are you still like drunk from last night? Or
I'm happy.
is this you're happy lah? Okay.
Joyful. Going to Melbourne
Joyful.
tomorrow. Let's be happy
Yeah.
for him. Okay.
Tonight.
Oh yes, tonight.
I mean,
Tonight.
joyful. Lord, we adore thee. Oh my God, twin!
So
So back to
The other bitch that had a lot to say the other day in the press.
I remember this was a Monday recording, and it was a Monday afternoon, and we arranged it, with the baby boy peeps, Bobby, Stefan, and Nat. Ritz wasn't gonna be part of it, so he was resting at home. Turned out that's what I did as well, because I was so exhausted from, all the nights of working at the club that I completely forgot. I literally got home the night before, and I still remember that was the night that Lady Gaga's manager came to the club. Did I tell you this?
no.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Lady Gaga's manager came to the club and he we brought him around and everything. He was like, this is amazing. And that was her first night, right? I think she performed on a Sunday first, was it? I can't remember. But anyway, he came after that show. Obviously not with her because there would have been a stampede. And because there were a lot of tourists, so tourists were also looking for things to do on weeknights.
Yeah.
So we opened the club even on weeknights and even on non-peak nights. So that's why I was working on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And that's why the next morning, I was like, I actually went back home. I was like, oh, I'm so tired, but thank goodness I can sleep in. I'm just gonna wake up naturally, not set my alarm, because all I have to do is to report for work at night. So that's what I did lah. Then I went to bed. And I was like, la la la, did my skincare, everything, went to bed. I woke up to 25 missed calls from I think it might have been Nat that called me, maybe even Stefan, and then
So
obviously Joshua Simon, and
you had a
get
recording
this,
that day.
and get this, Rachel Defoe also. It's bad when even Rachel Defoe has, even though she's not in the building.
When Samjo wasn't around and everyone was here, like
Yeah.
and the thing
Oh
is,
my god.
Sorry, was there a guest?
yes,
Oh,
it was.
shit.
What are you talking about? There were 3 of them.
So there were 3 guests.
Yes,
okay?
Bobby, Stefan, and Nat.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's why you're saying that you regret that episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because all 3 of them were at the studio ready to record, and Samjo organized the episode because he comes from that world, like baby boy partying. I don't club.
Oh my god, he literally just said you're that type of people.
No,
but I was so excited for this
Yeah.
episode. Like really,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what Josh meant. Like,
Yeah.
and I was like, we're gonna do an episode. It's gonna be great. And
Yeah.
and
He prepped a lot of questions. To be fair, he really was so excited for it. He prepped a lot of questions, and then meanwhile, I don't club, right? So I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna show up, and Samjo's gonna lead this episode.
yeah, and I was ready. I was ready to lip sync for my life, bitch. I was ready to lead it and to delve into all those beautiful baby boy memories, because it's been such a mainstay in the queer nightlife scene. I feel like we did what we could still,
Yeah.
and but it is what it is. It could it have been a better episode? Yes, but I think that I'm still glad they came on and we got to share with the world that this party exists, and if you ever come to Singapore, especially the last Saturday of each month, please go check out Baby Boy. It's an awesome party.
Shout out to Baby Boy. I think as someone who loves R&B, it's not easy to find an R&B space in Singapore.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
And literally, I think Baby Boy was the first refuge that I found. That I was like, oh shit, people like R&B music. People like hip hop in the gay community.
Yes.
And that's crazy.
Would you say being gay has been a blessing or a curse?
Blessing. If I was given a choice, not that being gay is a choice, but if I was given a choice, I would choose to do it all again, because I think for me, it has really shaped who I am. In a way, it's an exercise of being comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
I never had the choice to come out. I was outed against my will from a very young age. So I always thought, if I was straight passing, would I put myself through what I went through? And I think a lot of my ethics, a lot of my morality is shaped because I went through that struggle.
Yeah, and you are who you are today because you survived that lah. Yeah, I guess I agree with you as well. But for me, I would rephrase it to say it's a blessing in disguise. Because I think for a lot of us, it doesn't appear as a blessing initially. And for also a lot of us, it may never feel like a blessing. Like you said, nobody chooses to be gay or straight or anything.
Yeah.
But it just happens, and life deals you this card, and if you happen to be able to make the best of it, good for you, And but I know that so many of us still struggle with it, and I call it a blessing because it's it's who I am, and I am so much more comfortable with being unapologetically myself now, and that has a lot to do with, yes, being gay doesn't define me, but it is so much a part of me, and I can proudly say that I'm gay now. What about you?
Yeah, you've been asking a lot of questions.
Yeah.
You haven't actually answered the questions.
How are you doing?
I think for me, to admit that your sexuality is a curse, shows a lot of shame, right? And I think for me, I still have a lot of that shame. Honestly, I do, right? I think I was watching a video with a trans person in an interview, and she said, why would anyone choose to be like this? Why would anyone choose to be born like this? When I heard that, she started tearing up, and then I started tearing up as well, because I could relate to that as well, being gay. Why in sort of society, and I think we're quite liberal now in history, but we also still have so many challenges, even in the West, right? And it's why would I choose to be like this when I can have a wife and have kids, and I can worry. There's so many other things to already worry about in living, and then now I have to also worry about all these things. But at the same time, I can't imagine living life any other way. Like I can't. Like there's just something about being gay. I don't know how much of it's a sexuality. I don't know how much is just the embrace of femininity, but like the way we love our divas, the way we care about skincare and fashion. There's just something that unites us. I know it's a whole bunch of stereotypes, but there's just something about like when Kylie Minogue Padam Padam came out, the gays just got it. You know, there's so much about pop culture that the gays have led.
That's a very good point. Actually, I didn't like, now that you reminded me, when I say that so much of like being gay doesn't define us, but so much of who we are is gay.
Yeah,
that's definitely a huge part of it.
Can I just say though?
Like, I'm
sorry.
so proud that I'm so into my divas and like involved and emotionally invested in say like Mariah Carey's new album or like the comeback of the Sugar Babes. For me, like that's so important.
Even if we do make being gay our personality, so what, right?
Also, and also on a very just carnal level.
Yeah.
Like if I want to have like fucking like 6 loads dumped in me, fuck off. Like sure.
6.
That's what I was getting there.
Yeah, carnal, right? Yeah, we're talking about carnal.
On a carnal level, it
yeah.
just occurred because I have had straight women tell me before, straight women friends tell me before, like, oh, the penis actually is such an ugly looking organ, instrument. And I'm like, oh, I really? Because I find it very beautiful. And I find it beautiful because, I would like to think because I'm a gay guy. Yeah, but there's something so...
The appreciation of it is what you're saying.
So for me, it's like, it's you talk about Mother Nature creating works of art, right? I think one of her best works of art sometimes is like, a very nice looking penis. And there's a particular penis I'm thinking about that... I was in a club in Bangkok and we took a photo with it. It was framed on the wall, and it was this guy. It was a headless, nude shot, artistic, shot of some guy licking his own penis, and it was just so well done. And in that moment, I was like, oh. If I were straight, I don't think I would have had that much appreciation. No. I would have had a lot of penis envy, but without the appreciation.
I gotta say
so then I'm like, oh, I would have been losing out on life, missing out.
No, it's true.
So I think being gay is a blessing from above. Look at this penis, like, this is the penis I'm talking about.
I didn't see it.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's nicer even than the one that
nice. I need that in my ass right now.
It's
Yeah,
like erotic art.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of penises, Kennedy obviously doesn't come to this hood very often, so he turns on Grindr and suddenly he's getting inundated with lots of dick pics.
I live in Toa Payoh, girl.
Yeah.
Calm down. It's like
not too far away lah, but still lah, like the extra KM. Now they are forcing you to get the Grindr, was it premium or what? Unlimited, right?
Extra.
So like every little KM counts lah, is what I'm saying. Like you're closer to a different part. You're like near the private estates. You like, right? Maybe you got a lot of civil servants.
Like your parents live in, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but they're not civil servants lah. So calm the fuck down.
Okay, best and worst gay dating app.
Worst. I'm gonna say something very controversial. I think the worst dating app is Coffee Meets Bagel.
Why?
And it's controversial because everyone thinks that it's the best, right, to settle down or whatever, but I hate it. I hate Coffee Meets Bagel.
Why?
You get a lot of uppity types. Like, you get a lot of people who wear monogamy and who wear morals, who moralize their preferences as a badge of honor.
Okay,
I like it just because the girls were on Shark Tank, and then I want to support them.
The girls?
Yeah, it's run by 3 women, I believe. They're all like sisters, and then they went on Shark Tank for an investment.
Because we are sisters.
Coffee Meets Bagel is a Shark Tank product.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
The only one I know is like Scrub Daddy. It's like a lot of people have now.
I can understand the concept of people wanting to settle down and being serious, but at least in my context, in my experience, people are on Coffee Meets Bagel in opposition to Tinder and Grindr.
Right.
Okay, so that's your worst. What's the best?
The best, Tinder. I think Tinder is a good middle ground.
So you're looking for middle ground?
No, because
So she just want to fuck.
No. It's
I mean, get fucked. Like,
I am not going to talk about my position, unlike Joshua Simon on the podcast.
okay, wow. Okay. All right, on that note, Josh. Speaking of Josh, so how about you?
No, wait.
Best and worst for
Let
you.
me finish my point.
Okay. Wow, you're not done. I'm gooped that you have so much to say. That is not about yourself for once.
My point.
Yes, your point. Make your point. Make your motherfucking point.
You don't consider the dating app by itself. You have to consider it in relation to the other dating apps. Everything has a positioning, and you're going to attract a certain crowd in relation to your competitors.
Right.
And so, people are going on Coffee Meets Bagel because they don't want to be associated, or they don't want to attract the so-called Tinder crowd, the Grindr crowd. And then it becomes very moralistic. And I think Tinder is a good middle ground only because of the extreme left and right of Coffee Meets Bagel and Grindr.
Right.
So,
I just never figured out how to work the beans thing. Because like you need beans to like talk to people and stuff. And I
Oh
can
shit,
never,
you flick the bean now?
I don't get like how the currency works. So like I started it, but then I couldn't figure out how to like.
Baby, it's called a fucking product and you just pay for it, that's it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I'm gonna say, I think that giving a rose on Hinge or giving a bean on Coffee Meets Bagel is fan behavior. I think that it signals to someone that you're willing to pay for a relationship, and I think it becomes very transactional. That's why I don't like it.
Oh.
And in a way, because of that, Grindr is actually very clear cut. I know that everyone shits on Grindr. You know, you're not gonna find something serious, but I think that Grindr is very transparent in a way that, oh, you know what you're here for. But when you start to give a bean, a limited bean a day, and you start to give a rose, a limited rose, I don't know for how long period on Hinge, then it becomes very transactional.
but aren't all relationships transactional to some extent?
Ooh,
Like
call
when
me,
you meet
call
up
me a
for-
hopeless romantic, but I believe in something bigger.
Sure, but like even when you meet up for a physical date, right, and someone say gives you a flower or buys you a meal or a coffee, that's the so-called beans and roses and you're talking about online is just like a virtual version of that, no?
Yeah.
So I think that everything is transactional. Like you go in a relationship hoping to get something out of the other person and hopefully also contribute lah.
I really like Hinge because like you get to like learn about each other's like you can do little voice clips and like you can like
Also, you can show off your radio voice.
no
Wow. But honestly, that is one of your strengths. Why not? It played to your
personality
strengths.
like
Yeah.
I really like that like you can get to know someone on Hinge and like you can there are like all these questions that you can fill out and everything. Like I like how detailed it is. I don't like Grindr because of all the ads. Like you click on anything and I just remember like it's just like game ads over and over and over again.
Josh shouldn't be shamed for, putting on voice notes if he does on Hinge. Because if, in the same way, if someone with a very good body like shows off their body on Grindr, right? Like why can't Josh show off his...
Do an entire monologue
Yeah.
from The Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah, why not? And it shows a lot of like, your personality and whether or not that. I think for me, because okay, I haven't really used Hinge, but I know some friends who do. Every time there's like a very bad or cringy voice, what do you call it? Like a voice note?
Yeah, like a voice note. Yeah.
Voice note. They save it, like, and they.
That's
they
kind of bitchy though.
It is.
I
it
don't
is,
know.
But, I mean, come on, no.
I-
But sometimes, like, really, like, for me, it's like, it can be a deal breaker,
Right.
and I think it's actually good because it's one of those things. It's like the same way you ask someone for say their Instagram, right? If you hoping to get more than just a hookup, lah, right? Okay, and straight away it's like it's a yes or no, lah. Like you based on whatever you see, the same way now. Like when I used to be very cagey about these things because like
Caged? Oh, sorry.
no comment. But I'm talking about the KG aspect of it now. And because I'm like, I don't want you to know all my business, right?
Yeah.
Like, but now I'm like, I'm nothing to hide. So if you want my Instagram, go look at it. Fine. Like you can see that I am not.
Yeah.
I'm very out there. I'm very colorful. Like and I also do drag. So if that's not something that you're comfortable with, like by all means, like my loss.
And theirs. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
but
yeah, why
I
do you
mean,
say my loss? No, it's their loss.
no, I mean, I say my loss, like, obviously.
That's why you're the most
facetiously.
likable member of this podcast.
No, but I'm like, then maybe I don't, if you can't accept that, then
Yeah, it's fine.
then big deal lah, is what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
that's really annoying.
Another PSA right here. I'm sorry to all the gay men out there who get company from closeted guys, DL guys, or queer
Discreet.
baiting guys. Like all three, you know. But I think there is a serious lack of self-respect. And I'm not compelling anyone to come out of the closet. I think it's your own time, it's your own target. But I really think that it is feeding to a culture where you are validating the fact that you have to hide, but you are letting them win.
Okay, I totally understand where you're coming from, and I
Yeah.
think that's a valid way to feel. But I personally feel like it doesn't have to be that deep. Like, if people are not ready, they're not ready. I don't think it necessarily signals a lack of self-respect. It's like, and I say that as someone who has come from that place. When I first started on the apps as well, I was a discreet one. I didn't want to show my face. I was kind of scared because
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, who was out there, and like, who and I got catfished so many times. Like, it is scary, and especially when you grow up in a society, or you try to navigate your way in a society as a gay man or queer individual, a society that doesn't that seemingly punishes you for it, and persecutes you for it. So I don't blame these people.
Yeah.
Do I feel like I have obviously moved on, and like, I've chosen, if I get approached by these people, I don't engage anymore? Yes, absolutely. I have changed, and I hope that they can, they're on their own journey, right, and everything, right, and I hope that they can also come along.
Yeah.
But at their own time, right? So a good example is a friend of mine also. He's my age, and it took him a while. It took him a long time to even like admit that he was, interested in men. And it's not an age thing, like, because sometimes you look at people and you go like, oh, you're already so old that you should be more comfortable with yourself, but you don't know people's story. You don't know, like, their background and how difficult it was, like, in their household, for instance, right? And what demons they've been battling with. So I would choose to look at it as like, not for me, and move on. Like, I would just swipe left, or like ignore, or block if I have to, if they get too creepy,
So, it's two things here. What kind of tone of society do we want to promote? I think there is a stark difference when you are a private individual and when you are a public figure. That's the main difference. Of course, when you're a private individual, of course you have your own time and your own target. But I think when you are running for elected office, or if you are an influencer, or like in the very public eye, I think there is a separate code of ethics that applies. Because you are a role model in many ways, you are an ambassador in many ways, and my question is, are you a stakeholder in this?
Yeah.
And this is very personal, and I know that many people don't subscribe to it, but I cannot sit with, if I am enjoying all the fruits of labor of people who have been out, who have been persecuted, prosecuted for being out, and you're a public figure, like, where does that leave you?
I think it's easier said than done, right?
Certain public figures benefit off a very big gay fandom, and they are literally in a business that thrives on a gay fandom, and yet on Pink Dot, silent, right? And you give a little bit of hint that, oh, maybe I'm bi. You take all this money from gay people who are feeding into a culture of like, oh, maybe he's straight passing, and etc. etc. But then, I don't know, I just feel very miffed about it.
Okay, I think we're going slightly off tangent here, but I get where you're coming from. But the point I was trying to make is that there are a lot of people, it's easier said than done, right? You say that, oh, I'm going to enter the public eye, and I'm a public figure, of a person of influence. I should use I guess what you're trying to say is that use your platform for good, right?
For good.
Yes. Just like how
And just to clear the air.
Yes, just to clear the air. But it's not so easy lah. Like, for some people, and we have many positive examples of them being so-called in the closet for many years, but that was their way of, maybe they were not ready, but that was also how they got their career in the first place. So I'm thinking off the top of my head, Elliot Page, right? That's a really good example of someone who probably couldn't and was not ready to come out as trans back then when their career started. And now
I mean-
obviously advocating, for trans rights and all that. So just because you're a public figure doesn't mean that you shouldn't do things at your own pace, and that you should be held up to a higher standard or a harsher standard than others.
Point of order, I think there's a distinction between being a celebrity, an entertainment celebrity, and being a politician. There definitely is. And I will say, definitely celebrities have a lower bar. When you're a politician and people are asking you, are you gay, it is absolutely a choice to not reply. It is a choice to lie by omission. And I will say, it's lying.
Why does it bug you so much? Because, this is...
Yeah, because, okay, so, I think at the start of the podcast, I was very much on the, I think it's very important for you to come out, and we've all benefited from people who've come out and have walked the walk to make it a lot easier for us, right? And I used to be in that side as well, but I think also having gone through a lot of anxiety over my sexuality and clashing with work and clashing with public opinion, I actually think no one is obliged to be an activist. Actually, no one is obliged to do so. You can live a quiet, simple life as a gay man, and I think that's completely fine. It would be great. It would be great if there was a minister who would stick up for us very publicly. It would be so nice. It would be really, really comforting. Even in the entertainment business, we know a lot of people who are, and it would make it a lot easier, because when there is injustice or when we have to fight for something, it would be nice to not feel so alone. Because there are some people who may pass easier than others. And it would be so nice if someone is being picked on and bullied, if there was another person in the room to be like, hey, I know what this feels like, and I'm also one of you, and you don't do that. It would be so much easier. But the way society is set up, especially in still very largely conservative country, right? It is not set up for us to be safe, and I think if end of the day, you need to put food on the table, and this helps you to just put food on the table at the very least, then great, because as much as I would love for everyone to just be put their foot down and be like, I am very gay, and this is who I am, and blah, blah, blah. But then who's gonna feed them, right? Who's gonna actually pay their bills, right? And I've also seen a lot of people, even in the media industry, who are blatantly told, you don't have to deny, but there are ways we can go about this without even bringing it up.
You gotta fudge it lah.
We have, because we work, we know what it's like to work in state-run media, and it's not like we're not ready to come out. In my case as well, I'm the only openly gay, I think. I would love to not be, but I think I am. But that happened because of that happened with the whole TED Talk thing.
Yes, and in my case also, it was a lot of microaggressions. I wasn't coming out on camera per se, but there were people who were sensing, I guess.
Right, I mean,
whatever I was presenting,
even
right?
social media comments, right? People will say, "Oh, this one very aqua," that kind of thing, right?
So stuff like that, and then it would be the onus is on okay, does your organization or does your boss protect you from that, or do they agree with those comments and go Sam Joe, can you tone it down? Which was actually what happened to me. So that is problematic. I agree, but at the same time, hence, do you not see why it's so many people struggle with? I mean, at that point, I was already I can't be bothered. We are obviously very, we're grown apart. I'm gonna quit, right? But you can understand why for many people they don't have the luxury of quitting their jobs. They have to, like Josh said, put food on the table. And that's why so many people that I know now still keep their personal and so-called professional lives
separate,
very, very distinct. Some even go by two names, right? Some choose to have separate social media accounts just to keep it just to have that segregation.
On that point, I really hope that one day we reach a point where I am on your close friends list not because simply I'm gay. I am on your close friends list because we are close friends.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on your close friends list just because you're leading a double life.
Yeah, okay.
I want to be on your close friends list because we feel connection.
Right. There is a element of running away from your sexuality, which I understand. But there's also, I've learned to realize there's also an element of maybe also protecting one side of your life.
So my question...
In the sense where, if I have a family that maybe, my dad's a pastor, for example, right? And I've also learned to accept that even though it's my sexuality, there are also repercussions that can affect my dad's career and stuff like that, right? And that it can be a lot more complex. Or if I'm in a relationship with my husband and say my husband or my boyfriend has a different thought about everything, and it can affect our relationship, I'm going to choose my partner. I'm going to choose my relationship rather than being an activist for everyone else.
So that's where we differ, because for me, and I'm going to say this on record, call me anal, call me difficult. From a very young age, I already decided that if my parents don't accept me, if my partner doesn't accept me for being out loud and proud in your face, I will walk away. I will drop everything, and everything in my life has been built around that. I made sure from a very young age that the career that I got into will never forsake me because I'm gay. Reconciling with your point about safety, then my question is, what is the end goal? What is the tone of society? What is the norm and the call to action that we want people to hear? Like, are we normalizing staying in the closet? Or are we normalizing that it's okay to stay in the closet, but eventually visibility helps everyone?
Like, there's that Ricky Martin interview. I can't remember. I think it was with Barbara Walters, where I think she wanted to probe him on his sexuality. And he said in the interview, I think he came in with the mentality that today was going to be the day I talk about my sexuality once and for all. And then in that moment, he chose not to. And he's like, I just don't feel like it. And what I got from that was just like, you're not entitled to my story. Because I think even if I give you my story, I don't know how you can handle it. And I think that what I've learned from that is I can be out and proud and I can stand up for our community. But at the same time, it's like, how are you going to take that and do good with it as well? Like, can I trust you with my story? Are you going to use that against me? I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But I do think it's so strange because like we started off this podcast, all of us like super brave and garang and everything. And I think over time, I've also realized that I think we can be a little bit gentler with people when they want to come out and when they feel like it's their time. Because there are also other people who can also step forward. Not everything has to be you.
So I've actually, since it's a reunion episode, I will admit, I think I've been a bit radicalized in the last 3 years. I used to be more gentle. And I think that if you asked me 3 years ago, yes, I would agree with you. But I think I've reached a point where the comfort and the safety is a little bit of a disease. How long more do you want to wait? How long more do you want to say, okay, never mind, I'm just going to live my private life? Frankly speaking, like if you guys weren't out, we wouldn't be doing this podcast, what?
Of course,
right? And
yeah.
When people push back to me and they say, let people be, let people who, like stay in a closet. And my question to them is, are said people even going to address me? No.
Yeah.
Because when you're anonymous, you don't have leverage.
Yeah, but my point is like, we've done that. Like, we know what it's like to have that kind of dissonance and have that kind of struggle and challenge. And we still did it. We still did the podcast. We've been doing this for 5 years, right? And it's been hard. It's very hard. So that's why, having gone through that, I don't blame people now when people choose not to, because it's like, I know it's not easy.
So many people can, but they choose not to. Like, I'm a good example, right? I couldn't, in my mind, it was not possible for me to do it because I didn't think that, say, A, my family could take it. I didn't think that, number two, I felt like there would be serious repercussions at work, right? Eventually, I came round to it. And actually, this conversation reminds me of a turning point conversation in my life, and with this friend of mine called John, in the Forum McDonald's, I still remember. It might have been after Baby Boy, actually. We were eating supper, and at that point, I wasn't out. I wasn't out. I was out to my, obviously, gay friends that I was partying with, and maybe some of my colleagues. But even for a lot of my colleagues that I was close to, whenever sexuality was brought up, I would just, the furthest I would go was like I'm bi, because that was the, I couldn't admit to myself that I was completely gay, or I didn't want to let people know that I was completely gay. Yeah. But at that point, I can't remember the exact details of that conversation, but I still remember that he was a bit like you now, going like, What are you waiting for? Just like, we all have to come out. We all have to take
What
a
are
stand.
you waiting for?
It was very much like X-Men: The Last Stand. It's like it's this or that, you know. There was no gray area for him. And I was like, oh, but can't you see all my struggles and everything? He was like, I get it, but life will be a lot better when you come out. Trust me, blah, 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 blah. Now, back then I didn't understand it, and I was like, this guy is like, it's good for him that he's so out and proud, but like, it's not my time yet. And I do stand by what I felt and what I said then. It wasn't my time yet. Years later, the podcast came along, right? And then something in me just felt like, okay, it's time. A lot of people don't think big picture. They go through life and they think about their immediate concerns and they think about survival, right? They think about what is safe for them. After they get past that personal obstacle of that, like say coming out to themselves, for instance, then they can start thinking about, okay, what does my coming out mean in the greater scheme of things? I don't think everyone is, ready for that level of change at the get-go.
Which I think is great.
Yes.
Oxygen mask on yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
Before others.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's a good analogy, And so I actually think we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
It's just that we're focusing on different stages of it. We obviously will want the whole world to, like, if you're closeted right now, yes, come out, like, but I'm not saying like, oh, stay in the closet forever. No, like, that's obviously not what we mean. But we're just saying, do it in a time that feels safe for you. And yes, obviously, could you be nudged along and could you have, like, conversations that are very uncomfortable for you, that would push you in that direction? Sure. But you never know. I think for everyone, like, their story is different, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I'm Joshua Simon.
I'm Sam Joe.
And we are
The SG Boys, that little gay podcast from Singapore.
Subscribe and find us on Instagram at The SG Boys.